I couldn't sleep again. Seemed to be a pattern. I got up, went to the bathroom, and did something I'd been avoiding. I really looked at my body in the mirror. Stripped down to nothing, no clothes to hide behind, no makeup to soften the truth. My body was changing. Not dramatically, I wasn't developing breasts or curves or anything undeniable. But there were subtle shifts. My skin was clearer, softer. My face looked less angular. There was a slight fullness behind my nipples that definitely hadn't been there before. And my body hair was growing back lighter, thinner. Was this natural rebalancing, like Dr. Ashford claimed? Or had I been dosed with something without my knowledge? I wanted to be angry. Wanted to rage against the manipulation. But staring at my reflection, all I felt was relief. Because these small changes, these subtle feminizations, they felt right in a way that terrified me. Cameron? Alex was awake, standing in the doorway in their sleep shirt, hair mussed. I think I'm changing, I said. And I don't know if it's the program or if it's just me finally becoming who I was supposed to be. Alex came closer, stood beside me in the mirror. Two people who'd started in one place and were slowly, terrifyingly, beautifully becoming someone else. Does it matter? Alex asked. Does it matter why it's happening if it feels right? Yes. No. I don't know. I turned to face them. Alex, what if I go through this whole program and at the end I realize I made a terrible mistake? What if I transition and regret it? What if I'm just confused? Then you detransition. People do it. It's not the end of the world. Alex took my hands. But Cameron, you're asking the wrong questions. The question isn't what if I regret this? The question is, what will I regret more, trying and failing, or never trying at all? Dr. Ashford called me to her office. Cameron, we need to discuss your mother. My stomach dropped. Is she okay? She's fine. But she's called 3 times this week asking about your progress. And I need to know, what do you want me to tell her? I don't know. That's not good enough. Dr. Ashford leaned forward. In 8 weeks, this program ends. You'll go home. And you'll need to decide who you are when you walk through your mother's door. That decision starts now. She pulled out a form, long, detailed, intimidating. This is a consent form for hormone replacement therapy. If you sign it, we can have you on a low dose of estrogen and blockers within 48 hours. The changes would be gradual, nothing dramatic for months. But by the time you leave here, you'll be on a path. A path to what? To transition. To live as a female full-time. To become Cameron permanently. My hands were shaking. And if I don't sign? Then you continue the program as exploration only. At the end, you return to your life as Cameron, taking with you whatever insights you've gained. No permanent changes. No medical intervention. Just knowledge. She slid the form across the desk. I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I need you to make a conscious choice, Cameron. You can't float through this program pretending it's not real. You have to decide, are you exploring, or are you becoming? I stared at the form. At the lines for my signature. At the medical terms I only half understood. If I signed this, I was admitting something I'd been avoiding for 3 weeks. If I didn't sign, I was closing a door I might never find again. Can I think about it? You have until Monday. That's 3 days. Dr. Ashford's voice was gentle. Cameron, I know your mother's history makes this complicated. But her journey isn't your journey. Whatever you decide, it has to be your decision. I spent Saturday with the other students, trying to act normal while the consent form burned in my mind like a brand. We went shopping, one of Dr. Ashford's real-world integration exercises. All 8 of us, dressed in civilian clothes, skirts, dresses, cute tops and jeans, walked through the local mall like normal teenage girls. And that's how people saw us. Normal girls. We tried on clothes at Forever 21, tested makeup at Sephora, got bubble tea and giggled over cute guys walking past. I watched myself in store windows, in mirrors, in the reflection of Alex's eyes. Cameron was becoming more real than Cameron ever was. At one point, a guy approached me, college-aged, confident. "Hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but you're really pretty. Can I get your number?" I froze. Riley jumped in smoothly. "Sorry, she has a boyfriend." She grabbed my arm and pulled me away while the guy shrugged and moved on. "Oh my God," I gasped when we were safe in another store. "He thought I was a girl." "Yeah." Riley grinned. "Welcome to the reality check, Cameron. This is what your life looks like from the outside now." That night, lying in bed, I asked Alex the question I'd been avoiding. "Do you wish you'd never come here?" Long silence. Then, "No. Even if I detransition tomorrow, even if I decide Alex isn't who I'm meant to be, I'll never regret coming here. Because for the first time in my life, I got to choose. I got to try. And that choice saved my life. What if I choose wrong? There is no wrong choice. There's only the choice you make, and what you do with it afterward." Alex rolled over to face me in the darkness. "Are you going to sign the form?" "I don't know." "Yes, you do." I couldn't put it off any longer. I sat at my desk, the consent form in front of me, a pen in my trembling hand. Around me, the room I'd lived in for 4 weeks. The closet is full of skirts and dresses. The vanity covered in makeup. The mirror where I'd slowly watched Cameron fade and Cameron emerge. I thought about Mom, about her standing exactly where I was standing, 23 years ago. Scared and young and desperate to become herself. I thought about Alex, swallowing pills because being Alexander hurt more than dying. I thought about all the years I'd spent angry and destructive and lost, smashing against walls I couldn't name. And I thought about the person in the mirror, the girl who'd slowly become real over 4 weeks of permission and possibility. I picked up my phone. Dialed a number I'd been too afraid to call. "Cameron?" Mom's voice, breathless with hope and fear. "It's Cameron," I said, and heard her sharp intake of breath. "Mom, why didn't you tell me?" "Tell you what, sweetheart?" "That you're trans. That you went through this program. That you..." My voice broke. "That you understood what this felt like." Silence. Then, softly, "I was afraid. Afraid you'd hate me for keeping secrets. Afraid you'd think I was trying to make you like me. Afraid I'd lose you. I don't hate you." Tears were streaming down my face. "I'm scared, Mom. I'm so scared." "I know, baby. I know. But you don't have to decide everything tonight. You just have to decide what feels true right now. What if what feels true right now changes later? Then it changes. And we figure it out together." Her voice broke too. "Cameron, is that really what you want to be called?" "I think so. Maybe. I don't know yet. But it feels right. More right than Cameron ever did. Then Cameron it is. My beautiful daughter," she caught herself. "Or my beautiful child. Whatever you need me to say." "Mom?" "Yes. I'm going to sign the form. I'm going to start hormones. Not because you did, and not because the program wants me to. But because when I look in the mirror now, I finally see someone I don't hate. Then sign it, sweetheart. And know that I love you exactly as you are." I walked into Dr. Ashford's office and placed the signed form on her desk. She looked at it. Look at me. Smiled. "Welcome, Cameron. Your journey starts now." The first hormone pill was smaller than I expected. Blue and white, delicate in my palm, looking more like an allergy medication than a doorway to irreversible change. Dr. Brennan supervised, her expression professionally neutral as I stared at it like it might explode. Estradiol, 2 milligrams, she explained. And spironolactone, 50 milligrams, that's your testosterone blocker. You'll take them twice daily with food. Side effects may include mood changes, breast tenderness, reduced muscle mass, changes in libido, and... Will it hurt? I interrupted. She paused, seemed to really consider the question. Physically? Minimal discomfort. Emotionally? She gave me a sad, knowing smile. Transition always hurts, Cameron. Not because the hormones are painful, but because becoming yourself requires demolishing who you pretended to be. That demolition is never painless. I looked at Alex, who'd been on hormones for 2 weeks already. Does it hurt? Like pulling off a mask that's been glued to your face for 17 years, Alex said quietly. But yeah. Worth it. I put the pill in my mouth. Swallowed. And felt absolutely nothing change, except everything. Dr. Ashford called it the honeymoon phase, the first few weeks of transition when everything felt magical and right and like you'd finally found the answer to a question you'd been asking your whole life. I was drunk on it. Suddenly, getting dressed wasn't a chore, it was joy. Picking out a sundress in pale yellow, pairing it with white sandals, adding a delicate necklace Alex had lent me. Standing in front of the mirror and thinking, yes. This. Finally. My morning routine expanded. I was using serums now, learning about skincare pH levels, actually caring about thread count in my clothes. Jordan taught me how to shape my eyebrows, tiny adjustments that completely changed my face. Riley showed me how to walk in heels without looking like a newborn deer. You're glowing, Morgan said one morning at breakfast. They'd been in the program for 6 weeks and had developed an elegant, theatrical femininity that made them look like they belonged in a 1950s film. That's the estrogen. Give it a month, you'll have skin like porcelain. And the emotional mood swings of a Category 5 hurricane, Dakota added with a wry smile. They were 8 weeks in, far enough along that their chest had visible development. Seriously, week 3 of HRT I cried at a commercial for dog food. Just warning you. But I didn't care about warnings. I felt alive in a way I'd never experienced before. The world looked different. Colors seemed brighter. Music hit deeper. I found myself crying at sunsets, at beautiful songs, at the way light filtered through leaves. Everything was more present, more real. Is this what being a girl feels like? I asked Alex one night as we lay in our beds talking in the dark, a ritual we'd developed, these late-night confessions. I don't know what being a girl feels like, Alex said thoughtfully. But I know what being myself feels like now. And it's better than the alternative. Do you ever doubt? Ever wonder if you're making a mistake? Long pause. Every single day. But the doubt is quieter than it used to be. And every day that passes, Cameron becomes more real and Cameron becomes more like a character I played in a movie I've forgotten. I understood exactly what they meant. It happened during week 6, on a Tuesday that started like any other. We were in movement class, learning to dance, actual formal dancing, the kind you'd do at a wedding or gala. Ms. Rodriguez had us paired up, teaching us to follow instead of lead, to surrender control with grace. I was paired with Parker, both of us laughing as we stumbled through a waltz, when Ms. Chen appeared in the doorway. Cameron, Dr. Ashford needs you immediately. The tone in her voice made everyone stop. I followed her through the hallways, my heart hammering. Has something happened to Mom? To Natalie? Has someone discovered what this program really was and shut it down? But when I reached Dr. Ashford's office, it wasn't police or investigators waiting. It was my sister. Natalie stood by the window, wearing jeans and a blazer, her hair pulled back in the efficient ponytail she always wore. She turned when I entered, and her eyes widened. Oh my God, she breathed. Cameron? I was wearing a lavender dress, my hair had grown long enough to style in soft waves, and my makeup was flawless thanks to Jordan's morning tutorial. I knew, like a completely different person than the angry boy she'd last seen 6 weeks ago. It's Cameron now, I said quietly. Natalie's face went through about 5 different emotions in 2 seconds. Then she turned to Dr. Ashford. What the hell have you done to my brother? Your sister, Dr. Ashford corrected calmly, has made her own choices. Would you like to sit down? I would like an explanation. Mom told me Cameron was at a summer prep program. She didn't mention it was some kind of conversion camp where you turn boys into girls. We don't turn anyone into anything, Dr. Ashford said, her voice ice-cold professional. We provide a space for exploration. Cameron chose to participate. Cameron chose to start hormone therapy. Every decision has been hers. She's 17. Natalie was shaking. She can't consent to this kind of. I can speak for myself, I interrupted. Natalie spun to face me. Then speak, Cameron. Tell me what's happening here. And suddenly I was angry, properly, righteously angry in a way I hadn't been since arriving at Ashford. What's happening, I said, my voice steady, is that for the first time in my life, I'm not destroying everything I touch. I'm not getting expelled. I'm not making Mom cry every night. I'm not hating every single second of my own existence. So they convinced you that you're trans. They didn't convince me of anything. They gave me permission to figure it out myself. I was shouting now. Do you have any idea what it's like to spend 17 years feeling like you're wearing someone else's skin? Like you're an actor in a play you never auditioned for? That's called being a teenager, Cameron. Cameron. My name is Cameron. Tears were streaming down my face. And no, Nat, it's not just teenage angst. It's waking up every day and hating the sound of your own voice, the shape of your own body, the way people look at you and see someone who isn't real. Natalie stared at me, her anger cracking into something more complicated. Mom knew, she said quietly. She knew about this place because she went there. She told you? I figured it out. Found some old photos when I was helping her pack for the move. Natalie sank into a chair. I confronted her. She broke down, told me everything. About being trans, about this program, about sending you here because she thought you might be like her. And you think that's wrong? I think, Natalie's voice broke. I think I'm scared. I'm scared that I'm going to lose my little brother. I'm scared that Mom is projecting her own journey onto you. I'm scared that you're making permanent decisions about something you might not fully understand. I sat down across from her, and for a moment we were just 2 sisters, not fighting, not arguing, just scared. Nat, I'm scared too. Every single day. But I'm less scared now than I was before. I reached across and took her hand. When I was Cameron, I was drowning. As Cameron, I'm finally learning to breathe. That night, Natalie stayed for dinner. Dr. Ashford allowed it. Family integration was part of the program, apparently. Natalie sat at our long table, surrounded by 8 students in various stages of transition, looking completely out of her depth. So you're all. She started, then didn't know how to finish. We're all figuring it out, Jordan supplied gently. Some of us will transition permanently. Some of us are exploring. Some of us don't know yet. But we're all here because the world didn't give us permission to ask the questions we needed to ask. After dinner, I took Natalie on a tour of the campus. Showed her the studio where we learned makeup and styling, the classroom where we studied gender theory and social dynamics, the garden where I'd had my first breakdown. This place is. Natalie shook her head. It's intense. It has to be. We're unlearning 17 years of conditioning in 12 weeks. We reached the rose garden, sat on the same bench where Jordan had found me crying weeks ago. The sun was setting, painting everything gold and amber. Can I ask you something? Natalie said. And I want you to be completely honest. Okay. If Mom hadn't been trans, if she'd never gone through this herself, would you still be here? Would you still be Cameron? I thought about it, really thought about it, past the easy answers. I don't know, I admitted. Maybe I wouldn't have found this place. Maybe I wouldn't have had permission to explore. But Nat, the feelings were always there. The anger, the discomfort, the sense that something was fundamentally wrong. Mom didn't create that. She just helped me understand what it might mean. What if you regret it? What if you detransition and realize this was all a mistake? Then I'll detransition. It's not a death sentence. I turned to look at her. But living as Cameron was a death sentence. Slowly, maybe. But I was dying, Nat. Every day, I was dying a little more. Natalie was crying now, silent tears tracking down her face. I just miss my little brother. I'm still here. I'm just more me now. She pulled me into a hug, holding tight, and whispered, "Promise me something. Promise me that if you ever doubt, if you ever wonder if this is right, you'll tell someone. You'll ask for help. You won't just push through because you think you have to." I promise. Dr. Brennan had warned me about the emotional volatility. What she hadn't prepared me for was how completely it would demolish me. It started small, crying during a movie. Getting irrationally upset when I couldn't find the right shoes. Snapping at Alex over nothing, then sobbing for an hour because I'd been mean. Then it got worse. One morning, I woke up and looked in the mirror and saw a boy in a dress. All the magic, all the rightness, all the certainty, gone. Just a delusional kid playing pretend, destroying his body with hormones because he was too weak to figure out how to be a man. I didn't go to class. Stayed in bed, staring at the ceiling, drowning in dysphoria and doubt. Alex found me at lunch. "You didn't come to breakfast." "I can't do this." "Can't do what?" "Any of it. This whole thing. I'm not trans, Alex. I'm just a confused kid who let people convince me." "Stop." Alex sat on my bed, their voice firm. "You're crashing. It's hormones and doubt and fear. It doesn't mean you're wrong about yourself." "How do you know?" "Because I've been exactly where you are. Week 4 of HRT, I spent an entire day convinced I'd ruined my life. I wrote a letter to my parents apologizing for being a freak. I packed my bags. Alex took my hand. Then I woke up the next day and felt different. The doubt was still there, but it was quieter. And I realized that doubt doesn't mean I'm wrong, it means I'm human. What if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life? What if you're making the biggest right choice of your life and your brain is just scared because change is terrifying? Alex squeezed my hand. "Cameron, you're 6 weeks into HRT. You haven't even started seeing real physical changes yet. This is the hardest part, when you're committed but still waiting, when you're in between identities, when neither side feels completely real. How do you stand it? By remembering what it felt like before. By trusting that even if I'm wrong about Alex, I was definitely wrong about Alexander." They smiled sadly. "And by having friends who remind me that doubt is part of the journey, not proof I'm lost."